in South Carolina though, and so it was like, hey, I can go here and make these people millions of dollars, because I intern with Enterprise, or I can go be positive in my community and help hopefully change 1 million lives. That's the goal: change 1 million lives, change 1 million mindsets. Get a lot of these kids out the gutter as far as a mindset. But that's what it came down to. And I can remember I literally sat in my room before my graduation, and I kind of asked God, hey man, what do you want me to do in my life? Like, is it, I can be selfish, in a sense, and go this route, or I can be impactful. And so that was the thing, like, be impactful, try to come back and make an impact where I'm at.
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by Motivated Apparel. Motivated Apparel, the premier gear for motivation. A brand that motivates, inspires, and empowers you to stay motivated while chasing your dreams. Head on over to www.shiftmotivations.com/shop Motivated Apparel and grab yourself some Motivated Apparel today.
Hey, yo, what up, world? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the Blueprint to Success Podcast. We are excited on tonight. As you can tell, we got a special guest with us on tonight. So I'm actually bouncing off the walls right now. I'm sitting down, but on the inside, I'm bouncing off the walls right now. It's going to be a special segment, so make sure you tune in and don't touch that dial, all right? So y'all know how we like to get down, so let's go ahead and get the preliminaries out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and dive into tonight's segment. So y'all know what it is, man. This cat right here. Yes, sir. To my left, your right. Y'all give it up for Mr. Dumbo himself.
Yeah, man.
Alxndr Hall.
What's going on?
What's happening?
What's happening? Dumbo's out right now, produced by Diamond and Certifical. Y'all go view it. Y'all go stream it. It's on YouTube, man. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes, sir.
ALXNDR HALL. North Cape, we are
on their way. Straight like that.
For sure, let's go.
Yes, sir, man. It's going to be a live one tonight, man.
I'm telling
and
you.
before we get to our guests on tonight, y'all already know who usually sit to the right of me, man. My brother from the same mother.
Big Bag.
Big Bag.
Ooh.
Big Dub.
Come on with it.
Always in the bag. Swole pockets.
All day.
Mr. Let Me Hold Something.
Holla at your boy.
Y'all give it up for my bro, Boy Wonda, man. What up,
What's
bro?
happening, my people? Yo, it's good to be here. I'm excited. Coach here. Bro, it's finna be a pack for you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. I gotta get my mic caps on.
What's happening, man?
Yo, shout out Life After Death out. Rick Reed 316 out.
Rick
Man, listen, we got a pack for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And big year coming up, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you just had an event with T-Strike,
T-Strike.
right?
Oh, man, that thing was lit, bro. He pulled me up on the spot, you know.
Oh, he got you one of them last
Well,
minute,
Plain James, he's like, man, you here, shoot, you can host. I ain't got to do it. I can fall back. I was like, all right, it's whatever.
Yeah.
She gave me the itinerary. We did whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Did my thing.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoyed it. We had a good time, man.
That's what's up, man.
Good time.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Before we get into the details of everybody the week, man, I know most of y'all gonna know who this guy is, and for y'all that don't know, man, this guy has been a major impact and influence on my life. Been knowing him for some years now. We've been attached to the hip from the day we met. Very motivating guy, inspiring guy. One of the hardest working dudes I know on the planet. I mean, he got businesses, he coaches, he mentors, he fathers, he's a husband.
Big bloodhound,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? He just
Exactly.
Mr.
Yeah,
all
big
around,
bloodhound,
man. And so we're going to get into the details of his life. So without further ado, I just want to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Hometown Hero himself, Mr. Auburndale, Coach Antonio Thomas. Welcome to the Blueprint to Success Podcast, sir.
Happy to be here, man. I'm very excited about this episode. Definitely thank you guys for inviting me on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming.
What?
Yeah, it's been
here.
It is here now.
It is here.
Long time coming.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. So one of the things we like to do, man, is we like to get into to everybody's week. So before we get into the details of the podcast on tonight, so how's everybody's week, man? Anything anybody want to share? Or any major accomplishment, milestones, or anything, man? You know how we do. We like to catch up before we get into the root of everything.
Well, this week was my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, baby. When you see this, happy birthday. I'm very appreciative of you.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Mrs. Thomas, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Y'all boys had a good week, man?
Good week, man. Just trucking through the week, you know. My son going back, so spend a little more time with him.
Yeah.
You know, he bonded with the fiance, so everybody like clicking up. You had a friend reunion just passed in Plant City, so just meeting some of her family, my son being there, and they just embracing us.
Yeah.
It's just a good feeling, bro. You feel me?
Yeah. That's
Man,
what's up.
that is a beautiful thing.
Up, man. Hey, appreciate y'all fellas for helping me move, man.
Oh, no doubt, man.
We still
already
getting
know.
kind of, solidified, but we about 80% right now.
Oh, because I was gonna ask us like how everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know you was that night we was like, hey, pizza, hey, sleep. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
I got to tell you the rest of the details later on how that transpired that following a couple of days later. So we'll talk about that.
Facts.
But we want to go ahead and get dived into tonight, man. So
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So. With the Blueprint to Success podcast, I've always been a principle guy. And being a principle guy, that means you set standards in your life. And hanging around this guy, Coach Thomas, the man has very high standards, which is one of the many reasons why we click. And he has a no-nonsense attitude towards everything. But at the end of the day, he just wants the best for you, and he wants you to be successful. So, let's dive into the background a little bit. How was the childhood, bro?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm humble. Like everything you just said just humbled me. But first and foremost, the childhood, I grew up in this area. My parents, they divorced, when I was younger. And so, whenever you have a household and you have, that gap right there where, one parent's working double and then the other parent is kind of absent. They're not necessarily absent in your life, but they're absent. You can find your way into getting into, things that you're not supposed to get into as far as, being around and hanging around, the wrong people.
Right.
Putting yourself in positions where you could get in trouble and stuff like that. Not saying that you're not blaming anybody, but just knowing that leeway that was there for me, to kind of just do whatever I wanted to do at a young age.
Right.
Was there, with that. Now, I was probably a little bad when I was younger, as far as like, getting in trouble, in and out of school. I remember, vividly, I got kicked out of the Boys and Girls Club when I was younger. And I can remember the summertimes, me and my brother, we would come over here to Auburndale, because we actually stayed in the Caffrey Cove area.
Yeah.
But like we would come to Auburndale with my granddad, to build character.
Facts.
And what he would do is, my granddad used to do scrap metal. So he would have us help him with whatever he needed help with as far as scrap metal, or one of my relatives owns some property over here in Auburndale, and what he would do is he would cut the property and he would have us rake it up. So, my summer started getting into that once I got into so much trouble to where the people wouldn't almost allow me back into the program. But I also find myself running the streets, and, having, getting in little beefs here and there with different people from around this area, But again, eventually I outgrew all of that from a mentality, just from a self-growth standpoint. I outgrew all of that type of stuff, kind of going into high school.
Right.
And obviously, where I'm at now, what helped me get to where I'm at, I take my hat off to Kenny Grantham, Tim Vester,
Yes.
John O'Neill, Vince Parker, You know, a lot of those are my coaches in high school, and those were people who helped, you know, build and instill character in me.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember my football coach always saying, you know, your character is not what you do while people is looking, it's what you do while they not looking.
Exactly.
You know, and so, like, you know, that was something that always used to give me chills when he would say it, because when I would be alone, I would always think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and just being who you are. You know, I'm big on character. That's one of the things I'm huge on is character. You know, because again, you know, a lot of people put on these different faces for people, and you know, you don't necessarily need those faces. You need to be who you are.
Exactly.
So, fast forward, you know, I played 4 years at Auburndale, played on the varsity team for 4 years at Auburndale. You know, got my opportunity to go off to Benedict College. You know, got a scholarship to go to Benedict. And, you know, even
HBCU.
Absolutely. Hey. And Benedict, I'm not gonna lie, it helped me tremendously. Like, so I ended up at Benedict because I didn't have the test scores to go to the Citadel out of high school. So I had to, you know, I had to take those ACTs and stuff, and I struggled with those while I was in school, really just due to a lack of, like, paying attention in the classroom, just goofing off and, you know, trying to be cool while I was in school. And, you know, because in school, man, you know, I remember back when I was in school, you kind of just put on a face like everything gonna be all right, but, you know, at the end of the day, you don't really know what's gonna be at the end. But, you know, I remember this teacher came to me and she said, Antonio, she said, congratulations on signing with Benedict College. And I remember I looked at her and I was like, thank you. And as I was walking away, she kind of pulled me back. She was like, hey, but I was told that you didn't pass, like, you potentially won't graduate if you don't pass the ACT, or, you know, then we had the FCAP. She's like, if you don't pass, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it done. And, you know, I tried to walk off and she was like, oh, she kind of kept me there, you know, and she was like, she kept talking to me and I was like, and she caught my attention and she was like, listen, I'm willing to help you.
Right.
And so, you know, that was one of those times in my life where, you know, I'm very grateful. I thank God, me and her was able to have that conversation that day, because what that did was that helped push me, helped me get the test scores I needed so that I could qualify through the NCAA clearinghouse so I could be eligible going into college and stuff. And also, you know, so I can graduate and get my high school diploma. But, you know, most definitely, that was one of the most life-changing things. Going up to Benedict College was amazing. It taught me a lot of self-discipline. We used to have to get up at 5 in the morning for football practice my freshman year. And I actually had to walk probably about a mile to practice every day, because our football stadium was not on campus.
Oh, wow.
And so I used to have to get up. I used to have to set my alarm, get up at 4:30, you know, be out the door about 4:45-ish. Practice would start at 5:30. But a lot of times I used to like to get in the building early just so I can get my mind right. Like I never liked to just show up on time. Like I would like to get in there, sit in my locker, just kind of get my mind right. You know, but I can remember being at Benedict, like I can remember people like me kind of being doubted. I was a little bit on the smaller side for my position group. And I can remember, you know, just kind of proving to them that I could play ball. Like I can, you know, I remember my first day meeting my position coach, and he was like, who are you? You know what I mean? And I told him, I was like, I'm Antonio Thomas. And I can remember him saying, man, you smaller, like you look smaller than you look on film. You know what I mean? And, you know, so I can remember that day, it just being like, it was some doubt in them, like I was a recruiting mistake almost, but you know, you get out there on the field and, you know, I showed them that, hey man, look, I can play ball, and I'm a hard-nosed player. I'm just come to work every day, and you know, gain the respect of my peers up in Benedict. And I remember the day our offensive line coach, Coach Rich, he named me Polk County. He's like, man, that's Polk County right there. Man, that boy there. You know,
Polk County.
You know, that's I got my nickname up in Columbia, you know, from the football team. But, you know, like I say, through that experience, you know, I was able to stay there, persevere. You know, I came in as a second stream, and worked my way up to the first screen. Didn't transfer, then say, man, this is too hard. This is gonna be a challenge. Just stuck it out, and then eventually that work started to show. The coaches started to see that, and I worked myself up into a first screen position. And then from there, I actually started a security business in college. Me and my boy Zach Brisbane, and then after that, man, we was able to employ most of our teammates.
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy.
We was able to employ them. We was paying the boys $40 a night.
Oh, wow.
VIP event staff.
Yeah.
So I was able to.
VIP, hold it down.
I became a entrepreneur. Like I literally, in college, and my parents would tell you, I never called home and asked them for a dime. Even to this day, I never asked my parents, for a dime as far as, hey man, Dad, shoot me some money. I'm like, so.
Have they ever did any entrepreneurship type stuff, or was that just something you picked up?
My parents?
Yeah.
My daddy worked on the fence line, so my daddy. I'm gonna jump back on him. He worked on the fence line growing up, so he was gone. 5 o'clock in the morning. Because obviously the early in that line of work, you outside all day.
Yeah, exactly.
So the earlier you get out there, the better.
The better.
You get out there, especially now it's hot.
What?
So my dad, he used to do like little side gigs. Like he'll take me and my brother, we'll jump in the truck and he'll go tighten somebody's gate up. That's about the most I know. My mom, my mom actually has a business degree, but she never really went out on that end of like, starting a business. But my grandmother, my granny, that's what I'm gonna say, my granny, she actually, she was very entrepreneur. She owned properties and different things like that. And I mean, she used to have me and my brother get up, her different properties she owned. She would have us go collect the rent and stuff like that for her. So she was definitely, she never worked. As long as I was alive, I never seen her get up out of bed and go to work. She would, she was a hustler. She definitely had enough of profit and she did things like that. But she definitely taught me the art of like getting up and going to go get it, from where you're at. But definitely I learned a lot from her. And like I say, man, she was definitely, and I miss her, she was definitely instrumental in my youth. And now as an adult, I look back and I say, man, I wish that lady was alive so I could, just soak up half of the stuff, that she was trying to give me as a kid, But yeah.
That's the thing I think this generation loses out on, because though back in old days, man, we would go auntie, grandma, cousin, everybody be on the floor, everybody be happy, just chilling. You'd be about 10 of us sitting there on the living room floor, between the floor and the couch,
right.
Watching movies, eating popcorn or whatever it may be.
Facts.
But those are a lot of times where we learned lessons and stuff from them, just being around. And I don't think we get the benefit of that now because things have changed so much. So yeah, would you say like some of the early on conversation that you had with the teacher that helped you out a little bit, is that like something that kind of lit a fire in you? Because you do a lot of mentoring, you do a lot of empowering and pushing kids in the right direction. Do you think that had like an impact on some of the things that you do now?
Well, I just look at my sequence of events in my life, and I just know that had that event not happened, in a sense, like I couldn't tell you what direction my life would have went as far as, because every football player in Polk County, they is football or bust.
Right.
So like when and I get it. I was one of those kids. If it didn't work at that age, if football didn't work out, I thought about the military until they told me I was too big, and it was like you got to lose a certain amount of weight. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go to college, take this scholarship. I holler at y'all.
Right.
But I remember, I was a football or bust kid, man. If this was my route, and I'm gonna go on this route. And a lot of these kids are like that. And that's kind of the mentality. You think that's the your only way out. I can definitely say that football has definitely helped me on my journey.
Right.
It definitely gave me some sense of direction.
Yeah.
But that conversation, if she wouldn't have been like, hey, come here, I would have failed that test. I know for a fact I would have failed it because I wouldn't have studied for it the way she had me studying. and I wouldn't have paid that much attention to details, you know. But a lot of things that we miss out on in life comes due to the lack of practice, and that's one of those things that I learned, you know, that day with her is, you know, you got to practice, and that's all we did. We literally, you know, took the ACT book, and we just practiced. And from there, it was like, okay, wow, if I would have sat in my classroom 4 years ago and just did exactly what my other teachers was trying to get me to do, I wouldn't have been in the situation I was in.
Right.
Facts.
But the fact that, you know, I'm my back is against the wall, you know, because again, that's where you find out who's who when your back is against the wall.
Right.
My back is against the wall. I had one more opportunity at the ACT. It was pass it or be at the high school one more year. You know, it was one of them situations where it was like, yeah, I'm finna go get this, man. Ain't nothing gonna hold me back. But I did need that boost. Like I needed somebody to, because again, I had no direction at that point, and I wasn't listening to my teachers the way I should have been up until that point. I thought I had it figured out. I thought I was gonna be straight. Now I ended up being straight, right? But up until that point, I was like, man, I'm good. I'll figure it out. But like I say, once that teacher came in there and, you know, did her thing, and I appreciate you, it changed my life big time.
So question, with that being said, because a lot of times we think we have a lot of time. So it's like, in that moment, that teacher, the way she came across and how stern she was with it, she was like gentle, but letting you know, hey, you got to take care of business. Like, was that point in time where you felt like you were more prone to listen to more corrective action because of the last time that you had to finish? It just hit different.
I think that with her being direct, like her being like super direct, and you know, because again, in a teaching setting, you have so many people in the classroom, right? And so, you know, the teacher could be talking to me and 5 other people.
Right.
But I think with it being a direct interaction, you know, and obviously she touched on a point that meant a lot to me, you know, signing a scholarship, doing those things like that.
Yeah.
You know, because again, they post those things in the newspaper, so it'll be published, and you know, it grew that hunger, like, oh yeah, like this gotta be
tighten
done.
up. Yeah.
Right. This gotta be done.
Yeah, that was that DM. That's like that's like when you on the gram and you post something, everybody see it.
Yeah.
But when somebody slide in that DMs, personal,
Direct message.
Direct.
you feel
Absolutely.
direct.
Yep.
Do you hear what I'm talking to you about? Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Man.
And one of the things I always like to say is, you know, some people have different opinions and stuff. You have some to say that there's a secret to success, but I always say that there is no secret. It's only a blueprint. And as I watched you over the years, I've seen you lay the blueprint for many. And one thing I can say, and you know, to the audience, this ain't no smoke. You know, and I tell the kids all the time, I'm also the team chaplain out there. For some new time listeners, I'm the team chaplain for the Bloodhounds. And this will be my 10th season out there with them guys. And so I seen a lot come. There's a lot of people come, seen a lot of people go, seen a lot of kids come, seen a lot of kids go. And at the end of the day, this man stayed solid. He is who he is. What you see is what you get. At the end of the day, you're going to like it, love it, or you're going to leave it. But one thing I can say is anybody that was up under his tutelage, that listened, that really, like the things that he's doing right now is going back and acknowledging, hey, this is what I did that I shouldn't have done, but I made up for it on the back end. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to get that same opportunity. So take advantage of the opportunity the first time around. Right. And so he's a big messenger of that. So, but at the end of the day, I've watched kids that when they listened to his instruction, when they wasn't back talking, they wasn't on 10 on some other stuff. I don't think there's not one that I have not seen that has been successful. Yeah. And I say that with all true honesty and heart, because that's what happens when you follow the blueprint. And so, how did you actually get? We're gonna kind of try to get an audience a little bit of a snapshot of your life, a glimpse of you, not just football, but as a man, business owner, mentor, and different things of that nature. But I do want to throw this out there. So tell us the story about like how you got into like wrestling. You did wrestling in high school, right?
I wrestled. Yep.
Yeah. And so So you became the wrestling coach as well. So how did that journey go? Like, for your journey to that?
So I mean, it's gonna go back to football, but so with wrestling,
common denominator.
So I ended up, I started out. One of my friends from the neighborhood growing up, he wrestled, and he was like, "Hey man, look, you want to be good at football, you need to wrestle." And that was one of the things he told me going into high school. He had done graduated before I got to high school, so he was a year ahead of me or whatever. And he was going off to college, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to be better at football? Go wrestle." So I actually went in there my freshman year, and the coach at the time, he slammed me on my head, man. Like, he was like, "Oh, you want to wrestle?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the man slammed me on my head. I remember this vividly, like, slammed me on my neck. And I was like, man, these guys are crazy. Like, I'm being for real, like, because, I mean, this is a grown man, right? And, he just slammed me, and so at that point in my life, I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't take it serious. You know what I mean? Like,
I had to figure some things out.
I couldn't take it serious, man. So I had one of our football coaches at the time. He was a weightlifting coach, Coach Roach, man. God rest his soul. He was the weightlifting coach, so he wanted all us football players to be on the weightlifting team, and so I actually went and did weightlifting first. So I would go to weightlifting practice first and then come into the wrestling room. So the wrestling coach at the time told me, he said, "Hey man, look, if you come in here late one more time, we're gonna kick you off the team." And I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm trying to get stronger. Like, I'm going to the weight room, and then I'm coming in." He was like, "Nah," he's like weightlifting season is after wrestling season. And he tried to explain it to me, and I tried him, and so he kicked me off the team. So, and that was just kind of the end of my freshman year. So then going into my sophomore year, we hired a new defensive coordinator, Coach O'Neal, and when I used to get frustrated at practice, I used to fight at practice. I mean, it was I used to get into it with guys at practice, and I can remember Coach O'Neal coming up to me one day, and he was like, "Hey man, you need to come wrestle for me." And I looked at him like, "Man, I did wrestle, but I ain't I was on some stuff like I ain't really feeling it, but I'll come do it because you coaching, right, or whatever." And so, I came out for wrestling, man. I had some success. I remember we won a district title in my sophomore year, and it was just, it kept me off the streets. That's just the bottom line. It kept me off the streets. It kept me from, I wasn't running around with the cats, just doing any old thing. It brought that structure in my life, and when I look back on it now, I see that it brought that structure. It kept me training, so I wasn't just hanging out talking about, after school I'm going in there, we working out real hard, and then I'm going home. So it kept me active, kept me training, and it actually made football a lot easier for me. But so I went out for wrestling my sophomore year, wrestled my junior year, my senior year had a ton of success, and at one point, like, nobody at Auburndale had finished higher in the state than I had, but Big Nate just did, a kid that I just recently coached, but. I think it was about 10 years almost up until somebody had, finished higher in the state than me in wrestling. So that was one of my challenges getting into wrestling was my old coach. He's the weightlifting coach. Now he's like, "Hey man, nobody finished higher than you since you graduated, man." And I'm like, wow, nobody finished higher than me. So that was one of my challenges, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to do was to try to push somebody over the edge. And to finish higher than I finished at the state tournament, you have to either be a state champ or a state runner-up. And so, I was top 3 in the state my senior year. So that was one of my biggest challenges, and we definitely jumped that hurdle. Yeah. So, excited about the many more hurdles.
Speaking of coaching, coaching is like a process. It's also an opportunity to get guidance and train. So what do you feel is your type of style of coaching when it comes to helping others to get to that type of level of success?
Well, I'm the type of guy, like, I'm gonna lead you, I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna try to do whatever it takes to get the point across, because everybody learns differently. Right. So I can't coach you the same way I can coach him. I may be able to really push him. I may have to show you through him, why you need to be pushed so hard.
Exactly.
That makes sense?
That makes a lot
of
sense.
And so, what I do is I try to process, you know, everybody like, okay, over here, he learns at this level. He's a visual learner. You know, you may be, I can tell you what to do and you go get it done. And so either way, I try to show him visually and I try to coach you through what you're best at. And so that's kind of my style. Like, man, let's do what everybody's good at so we can be good.
Kind of like the Apostle Paul, be all things to all men.
Yeah.
That's so, it's so imperative, you know what I'm saying? And one, like I said, one of the reasons me and you click so much because we both know nonsense guys. Yeah. And I also serve as a voice, so to speak, or an echo behind the coaches out there because, like I said, ain't no secret to success. It's only a blueprint. So it's always being like a lot of the same stuff is being said. Would you agree? It's just said different ways. Right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might adapt to your story versus my story or vice versa, but it's really everything leads from a trials to triumph. Do what you're supposed to do, and everything else will take care of itself. Yep. And if the road that you're going down isn't the road that you end on, that, you know, quote unquote per se what you thought you should be. Right. I'm a firm believer that at the end you're gonna be where you're supposed to be at anyway. Yeah. If you're supposed to be an elite, you're gonna get there. If not, God got another road for you. You gotta be okay with that. And I think that's what we gotta especially teach the next generation. And even their parents, man, because their parents can be on some stuff. You know, sometimes we thinking their kids better than what they really are. And y'all guys out there putting, and I mean, I remember one year, man, I had got on to the kids, man. I said, man, do y'all understand the hours these guys put in? Like, these guys be 15, 16-hour days, easy. You know what I'm saying? So, and ain't nobody perfect. Nobody's going to have the perfect game plan every game. Nobody's going to not make a mistake. But the honor to honor what they do in the time frame that they put in, you know, is honorable. You got to give honor to whom honor is due. Big facts. And so with that being said, so I know you started out. When you came out, you started at Bartow, right?
Started at Bartow High School, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I graduated, well, my last semester at Benedict, I was a player coach. So I was coaching college ball. So I can actually say I coached college ball. But, you know, I was a student assistant coach. And so, you know, at that point in my life, you know, I knew I hadn't given up the game fully. And you know, I knew I had a real love for the game, and you know, because I was still getting up with the team 5 in the morning, and I can just remember. I came home to talk with my old head coach, who was at Mulberry at the time, and you know, just about the opportunity of just coaching, and you know, and so I kind of explored my options. I went out to Warner University and talked with their head coach at the time, and you know, was trying to accept the position out there that they coach, because I really wanted to stay at the college level. Right. But, you know, I kind of realized that, you know, I didn't really see myself there. Like, because again, that journey is a lot different than the journey I took. So, you know, I went, you know, I talked to a couple of my friends around the way, and Kenny Strong, Jr., you know, I talked with him, and he was like, hey, man, hold on, give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Kenny, man.
Big fan.
So I talked to Coach Strong, and he was like, hey, man, you know, I just accepted this defensive coordinator job at Bartow. And so, you know, I was like, well, I'll come on and be your D-line coach. And I just kind of threw that out there at him. And he was like, yeah, heck yeah. So, you know, we linked up like that. And, you know, I went out to Bartow, and we had some fun. We coached some good kids out there. You know, I remember, matter of fact, I got a kid, he played for the University of Miami right now, his name Anthony Campbell. You know, it was like his first or second year playing football. You know, so I had some memorable moments. I actually coached wrestling at Bartow as well. So, you know, it kind of, once I started coaching there, I knew for a fact, I was like, man, I love coaching. Yeah. I mean, ain't nothing else, you know, in the world that I can really see myself doing. I just knew that was my calling. I knew it was, I was like, man, you know what? I was like, I can go out here, because I'm going to be honest, when I graduated college, I had a job lined up at Enterprise. And in South Carolina, though. And so it was like, hey, I can go here and make these people millions of dollars. because I intern with Enterprise, or I can go be positive in my community and help hopefully change 1 million lives. That's the goal. Change 1 million lives, change 1 million mindsets. Get a lot of these kids out the gutter as far as a mindset.
Yeah.
But that's what it came down to. And I can remember I literally sat in my room before my graduation, and I kind of asked God, like, hey man, what do you want me to do in my life? Like, is it, I can be selfish, in a sense, and go this route, or I can be impactful. And so that was the thing, like,
wow,
to be impactful, try to come back and make an impact where I'm at.
Was that a really hard decision for you to make, like being that that was kind of like a fork in the road in a sense, or did you always felt like in your heart like I'm leaning always more towards that? Because it's never easy to make that kind of decision when you're looking at, I can make quite a bit of money here, but then it's like the value of the impact of the community outweighs that in a sense. So did you ever feel like you struggled with that decision?
Well, I mean, you always look back and you just say, like, I mean, at that time in my life, you got to think I had been out of Florida for 4 years, and so life was a lot different in South Carolina. And so, it was easy for me to be selfish. Like, I could have literally rode off into the sunset and said, hey, I'm finna go do this and be great at it. Because whatever, whatever, I look at it like this, whatever I decide to do in life, I'm gonna be my best. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be the best, but I'm gonna be my best. Right. So if that's, if we go flip hamburgers, I'm gonna try to be the best hamburger flipper in there. Yeah. And so that's just been my mentality. So I could have went that route, but I was like, man, you know what? When I came back home, and like I say, I just gravitated towards coaching. I gravitated towards coaching, at the end of my college career. I just didn't want to be from around it. Like, I just, you know what I mean? And so that's what drove me into going into this. Now, once I left Bartow, I came back to Auburndale. And when I got back here, it was like, man, this is where something happened at Bartow which drove me out of Bartow, which drove me here. Because actually, a lot of people don't know this, but in Bartow, I wanted to actually coach wrestling and be like a JV coach, because I had fell in love with just coaching wrestling. Like, that's how much I just like coaching, right? And so I asked the head coach at the time. I was like, Coach, man, can I help you out with the JV team? And can I coach wrestling? Just because he was the athletic director, it's like, look, let me take this wrestling thing serious, and let me help you with, because I still love football. Let me help you with the JV program. And he was like, nah. So he called me up a couple of days, and he was like, hey, look, man, we gonna let you go from wrestling. We wanna help you focus on football. And I was like, you ain't helping me focus on nothing. So I'm like, man, you done fired me, man. Like, for real. You done fired me trying to tell me what I'm gonna focus on. And so, and again, it led me back coming home. A lot of people don't know that, but like, it literally led me back.
Go tell me what I need to focus on.
So I was, because I mean, and I like I said, I enjoyed coaching in Bartow. I had done coached the high school and the middle school team, and so I had a vision, like, okay, in X amount of years at Bartow, I'm gonna get this, because it was my program. The wrestling team at that time was my program, and so I put everything I could into it, and I was a one-man show, and so, I just taking that pride, just having pride in yourself and wanting to be, the best where you're at, no matter the circumstance, just like, man, I want to be great here. Like, I can see myself being here for 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years. I could have, at that time in my life, I probably was, in my early 20s, but I could literally see myself being there for a long time in that situation. And like I say, when the guy, he fired me, that's what happened. He was like, hey man, look, we want to let you go from this position because we want you to focus on this. I was like, well, look, I could focus on this elsewhere. I'm out all the way. So, but again, I think all of that was God's plan. I don't ever want to overlook that or overshadow that God put me in that position, and he put me in that situation, which, to be honest, it sucked leaving.
Yeah.
Because because again, it sucked because of how passionate I am.
Right.
And how once I get into the groove, it's just,
it's hard to disconnect.
Right. And it's like the only thing I think about, to be honest, like that's just how I am. Like, when I met my wife, she was the only thing I could think about. You know what I mean? And so whatever it is and whatever I do, like literally football right now, is like one of the things that I'm very engaged in.
Yeah.
So like at that time it was wrestling. Like I was trying to figure out how could I be the best wrestling coach for that team. And like I say, it led me back here. And once I got my foot back on these soils, that pride.
That's it.
That pride really started to kick in.
Yes,
because now, and a lot of these young men don't know this, but when I look at them, I see myself.
Right.
Like when I see you working out and I see you lifting and I see you running, I see myself. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I love it, because once upon a time I was there in your shoes. I consider myself a bridge builder. You know what I mean? I'm building a bridge for you to walk across, because I've been there. I know the roads that you're getting ready to travel. On your journey, or I have a ideal of where your situation going, and so that's why I'm so passionate about being here.
Yeah. That's good, man. I'm glad that happened, because with you being a hometown hero, and we're gonna get into some other stuff in a little bit, but I do want to touch on this. So you come over being a defensive line coach, and so we know that team. You did your thing. It's no stranger. Everybody know that the D-line, when it always been almost like the heartbeat of the team, really. And so with you taking the head coach position, now that takes on a different level of responsibility. And so I can remember when during the transition and stuff, and it was like, everybody was like, man, if Thomas don't get this job, because we just felt like that for what the team was needing at that moment, for them to look anywhere else would have I don't think that would have went well at all. So we're definitely glad you're there. So before we start getting into some of the intricacies of that, so what would you say some of the adjustments that you've had to make from D-line coach to being the head coach? Is it like, I know you're passionate about it, so a lot of the time when you're passionate about something, it don't seem like work, and you can just do it blinded. So, but has there been like any challenges or anything, or like the level of responsibility that you have? Like, is it like a drastic change, or?
Yeah, the responsibility.
Yeah.
I sat back and I watched Sass run the program, and you just as an assistant, you feel like, man, like really, man, as an assistant, and trust me, when I was an assistant, I was trying to be the best one, every day. Like I wanted to be the best one, and so I'm sitting back looking at the situation like, man, it can't be that hard.
Right.
But it definitely has its challenges. Nothing I won't really complain about.
Right.
But being an assistant and then jumping into the head coaching role, it's definitely a different hat. You can't, the mentality, the mindset, showing up every day, being there, knowing that this is your responsibility. Even though as an assistant I was never a call out guy, like, oh, I can't, I gotta miss today, or whatever. Like probably football was probably on my mind at that time. Maybe 60% of the time. Now it's almost 100.
Yeah.
Right. So like, because now, as a position coach, I'm worried about this position group.
Right.
Like how they well doing and how they doing. Now, I'm having to monitor more kids. So now, I look at it like, now a lot of that is on my conscience. How so-and-so doing? Do they family need food? Do they need help?
Right.
Because again, in my program, ain't nobody gonna go hungry. So, I in my mind, if they struggling, I'm struggling.
Right.
And that's the type of stuff that, as a position coach, it was just like, all right, I got maybe 12 of y'all that I got to worry about.
Right.
And the 12, I'm gonna make sure y'all good. But now, you know, that number's amplified maybe 80 kids or so. So
right.
like that's the biggest adjustment I think is just the more care I have. And you know, I got a big heart for these kids.
Right.
So
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by No Grind, No Glory Apparel, R8 28 edition. It's a reminder to stay strong, to be courageous, to starve your fears, and to feed your faith. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, just know that you were born to stand out and make an impact. Head over exclusively to www.nogrindnoglory.net and grab you some merch as a daily reminder that all things work together.
Like right now, I'm thinking about the kids. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like that's just how much I love what I do.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, that's just how much I care about it. You know, and I care about this community.
Yeah. And man, you just led right into where I'm fit to go. So with that being said, I know what your, you know, that's one of the things I recognize you too, that you have is a big heart, and you love hard. And so how do you deal with this transfer portal, man? I know how you deal with it, but let the people know how you deal with it, because go ahead.
So before you get into that, can you explain what that is? Because I'm not really, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I forgot you in the football.
Yeah, so explain what exactly what that is, and why. And every time I hear it, I always see a coach be about to pull their head off their neck. So why does it frustrate you so much? Like kind of elaborate on what he's talking about and why is that such a hindrance to what you do? You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what the transfer portal is, it's basically a free market.
Okay.
Right. So like, you know, instead of look at it like this. So let's say my whole life I decided to go shop at Walmart.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna give Walmart all my dollars. Well, one day I wake up and I just say, well, I'm finna start giving Publix all my dollars.
It's a good analogy.
To be honest, the way the transfer portal affect me is, you know, everything I do, I give my all. You know, everything I do, you know, anybody that I come across, anybody in my program, you know, I care about these kids. Like, I literally care. I care about them. So, like, you know, I get it. Some people use you, and some people, they some people don't really have real guidance, you know, when they make decisions to leave schools and programs. Now, I know how every coach feel. You know, when you lose a kid that you built a relationship with, you know, that you may have had to take home or take different places to help them get there. You know, a lot of people underestimate that type of stuff, you know, that you do for these kids. And, you know, they say, oh, they just left you. Well, if I would be wrong to say I didn't feel some type of way about people leaving, because it's like, look, man, I done gave you, maybe I've had a conversation with a college coach or whatever for you. Or, you know, like I say, it's just the little things that can be overlooked that people feel like, oh, you shouldn't really care. Yes, you do. Yes, you give your time. Time is something you can't get back.
Right.
You know, you give your time to people. You know, but how I feel about it, I mean, it's just a part of the game now. You know, kids are going to leave. They're going to go left and right. You know, in my opinion, it's not the old school way of, you know, you grew up in a community, you playing for your high school, and you making, you know, your community the best it is. There's no more of that. You know, you just kind of, I look at it like it's the LeBron James effect. You know, a lot of times kids are transferred just because they feel like this team is going to win and this team is going to win. And you got people in life that's how they operate.
Right.
And that's how they raise their kids. Like, just go wherever it's winning. You know, but then you got, you know, you have a certain amount of people who say, hey, well, look, I want to take my kid over here because this person right here going to still, you know, teach my son how to be a man.
Yeah, that's a different
thing.
thing.
He's not going to teach him.
Right.
It ain't all about winning. Winning is something that we want to do,
Yeah.
you know, but winning in life is a little bit more important than maybe that W on a Friday or, you know, Saturday or whatever. You know, I think, like I say, the biggest thing for me with the transfer portal is, you know, I get it. It's a part of it. Now you have to kind of adjust to it and move on. You can't allow, as a head coach, you can't allow it to just, I lost this kid. You know, my philosophy is next man up. If this guy leave us, you know, then I'm going to have to go with the next guy. I can't sit and ponder. I can't cry about it. You just have to adjust and move on. But yeah, you hate to lose kids. I mean, that's just the bottom line, especially kids you knew for a long time and all this stuff. It just makes stuff, it makes it awkward. And like I know different coaches in the area dealing with it, and I know how they feel about it and stuff like that. And unfortunately, we've had to deal with it here. Years. I mean, it's been going on for years. I mean, but I also look at it like this too, man. If your program producing good athletes, people gonna want them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I mean, whether that's on your level or the next, people gonna want them, and so that's a testament to the area and the caliber of kids you have in your area. But the bottom line is it's something that I feel like I can't change. Like I said, I just have to make sure the people that I have up next, we do the best job we can preparing them for whatever situation that they're going to see and they're going to face on the football field. And make that kid believe in himself and know that he can do whatever job that the other person who left, he can do just as good as that person. And everything starts with belief and making these kids believe in themselves. You know what I mean? I think that's the one thing that I'm good at as a coach. Because I'm gonna be real, like I dealt with it, as a position coach, and I can remember vividly, like the kid came into the program, he didn't know how to practice, he complained a lot, but I taught him how to practice. I taught him how to be a football player. Using my experiences from playing in college and stuff like that, I taught him how to grind. I taught him techniques. I took everything I had in my toolbox and I poured into that kid. And I remember, they family leaving, and that situation there alone, because I had a lot of alone time with that kid, and I spent, countless hours with him, as to, now being the head coach, I'm spending all of my time with everybody, not just my position group, but, I'm spending countless hours buying pizzas, doing, teaching these kids the game. And so when you lose somebody that close, it really sucks. And so once that happened, and I'm like, man, I done really poured into y'all, and you leave, then, I just kind of like, well, dang. But I know that I can't look at the transfer portal and say, well, I'm just going to treat people the way the portal treat me.
Right.
I'm going to just use you. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't dare do that. I'm going to treat the next kid the same way I would have treated that kid. I'm going to treat the next one the same way. I'm going to give everybody equal opportunity. I'm going to do the best I can for you. As a coach. And so, that's the way we got to be with it. You can't look at it, you can't stress out about it, because what's going to happen is going to happen. And then, you can't, it's nothing you can really do about it. I mean, honestly, like, I look at it like this, I look at the youth, a lot of that mentality starts at the youth level. Because what you have is like, now every team in the area is like merged together. So you don't really have a sit like, I seen somebody crying about well, all our kids left, they went so, but I mean, so that starts at the youth level. So it's like, you just have to, as a high school coach, you just have to understand that, you could do the best you can with that kid while he in your program, and then, if he decides to leave your program because he thinks something else is better, then it is what it is. You got to move on to the next kid. You can't sit there and lose your mind and stuff. Now, it sucks. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to keep it real, man. If I had to tell you, like I say, when I lost that first kid as a position coach, because he would have been a huge piece on that team that I coached a couple years ago. He would have been a huge piece in that middle for that team. It just, but, what happened from that situation is, it taught me that I was a better coach. Right?
Yeah.
It taught me that situation right there taught me that I can really coach, because up until then, I had, that kid was very talented from a young age. He just had to be molded. I just had to teach him how to practice, teach him techniques, but some stuff he could already do on his own, right? Now, when that kid decided to leave and I had to coach up the next few kids in that area who didn't have the talent, I had to really coach them. And so that taught me that, man, you really can coach. So that's one of the things I did learn from that experience. But you just gotta adjust and move on. That's the mentality you gotta have with that.
Man, the few, like, so I'm saying, I'm sitting here listening, right? So when I be on her, like, this platform with my brothers, like, everybody have their, like you say, their own different learning styles, you know what I mean? So most times, I just be soaking up everything, and then I just come from the house.
Then you just come from the house.
My brain just operate how I operate, just like everybody else's. So I'm sitting here, and I've been hearing so much about you, right? So I'm sitting here listening to your story, listening to how you came in, how you greeted us, and your aura, your nephew, you know what I mean? And Mike was telling me about how you operate with your family and the kids and stuff like that. So when I'm sitting here listening to you, and he said you're a coach, so I'm just like kind of, just how my mind works. I'm just breaking it down. The main word I keep hearing you say is teach. Like, you were stretched by great teachers coming up. So now you are a great teacher. You know, but your didactic form is just on the football field. It's different. Your classroom is dealing with people who are athletic. And you teach them life principles through their giftings of athleticism, if I can say it that way.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just dope how you are around people who molded you, and now you're molding other people using what helped save your life. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking about, just thinking about myself, what giftings have God given me, and how I can use my giftings as a tool to help mold someone else's life. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a football guy, but at the same form and fashion, I do a lot of songwriters and producers and people who, I'm always writing something for somebody, and we do podcasting and stuff like that. So it could be a young person who wants to be an entertainer, who wants to be a songwriter, who wants to be a podcaster. But yo, let me how is your life off of the screen?
Right.
Exactly.
Because that's gonna affect what you do on the screen. That's gonna affect how impactful you are on the screen. So how can I use this to help impact somebody's life that after, when they're not on the screen, they can duplicate and have a generational rotation that would be steadfast forever. So that's what I'm getting from listening to you. That's what I'm picking up. It's just real dope how your teachers, how they molded you, and now you're out here molding other men and women. Because best believe when their sons go home, their moms are impacted. And moms are dealing with their children differently from how the coaches are dealing with them. Because it doesn't make any sense to have this impactful person molding a kid, and then they go home and then it's sloppy. Doesn't make no sense. We out here Randy Mossing catching your kid. You go home, you got the butterfingers. No, it have to be the same thing home and on the field. You know what I mean? So it's real dope.
That's good. That's a good point, man. Because when we sat down and talked, and he was telling me the vision. One of the things I love about being in my position is there are conversations that I have with coaches that nobody will never know. But then there are conversations that just like right now I'm going to share. But when he began to share his vision, I was like, dang, man, this Joker's vision is huge. You know, because what he's trying to do, in the scope, and I say try because, and the only reason I say the word try is because he's in the process of putting everything together, because what he put his hands to, he do. Like, and that's why I love being around people like that, man. And that's what this podcast is about, man. It's about learning from those that have already paved the way for you. You know what I'm saying? And whatever field of life you're in, whatever field of work you're in, it doesn't matter. That's why I'm a principal guy. I can teach you. I can't teach everybody strategy. Everybody don't learn the same strategy, but I can take a principle and apply it, not just from a coach's standpoint, but to a teacher's standpoint, to a husband's standpoint, to, you know, and that's what he's shown. And his main focus was, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but he said, man, Mike, he say, they call me preach. He say, preach. He say, He say, man, I want to win games. He said, I want to win games. He said, but my main focus is to build these young men. And a lot of coaches say that, but then there's a lot of coaches that don't care about the man. They want the football player. And but what we always want to reiterate, because one thing I can say about my brother right here, man, my brother would get the butter from the duck. Y'all hear me? He gonna get the butter from the duck.
Bro, that's what happened with him.
Yeah,
So,
they got the butter from.
So that's what happened. So what happens is whatever you sow, that's what you're gonna reap.
Right.
So
The harvest.
right.
Yeah,
so
the harvest. Right.
So what you sow, you're gonna reap. So he was built a football player after he was built into a man. The man played football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of basketball stars and football players and kids who great, men who great, but their character is off. So he was built the man first, then the man played football.
Yeah, you making some valuable points, because I remember like my dad growing up, he always taught me and my brother to be like our own man.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what situation you put yourself in or you're in, be who you are. Don't allow other people around you to change you. And that's why I say that's why I'm so real. And the most people, and I throw the real word, I throw that word around a lot. Because that's who my dad is. He real. So what you see is what you get. You never gonna come around him and he gonna act one way around you, and then once he get around you, he acting a whole different. I'm the same way.
Right.
You either gonna hate me or you gonna love me. It really ain't no in between areas. Me and you might fall out, but I'm always tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'm always keep it real with you. I'm not going, if it's something serious, I'm not going to sugarcoat and, make you feel comfortable, because if you're doing something wrong around me, I'm going to tell you you're doing it wrong. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to allow you to be wrong around me. Like,
Right.
I'm not that type of person. Like, and so, like I say, like people, like people,
They were
people
literally
either
looking
like me or they dislike me. It's kind of no gray area. Like, a lot of people try to figure me out, but really what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I was raised to be polite to everybody, treat people how I want to be treated. But at the same time, I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to put on no show. I'm not going to act, even as a teacher, even as a coach. I'm not going to sit around here and act like I'm something I'm not. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people, they, just because they put their teaching hat, they put their coaching hat on. Like, I wear my hat everywhere I go.
Because it's, my gosh, bro. Because to them, it's something about purpose that you just can't let it go. Purpose don't drop.
Right.
Purpose never drops. Them, it's a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's something they go and clock in on.
Right.
It's a job. But when it's who you are, remember you said when you got to what was the HBCU? HBCU.
Benedict
College.
College.
Yeah.
The first thing the coach said was, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Who are you? That's the first thing he said the coach asked him. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of people in their professions, they're clocking in and they're going home. They don't really care. They're not purpose-driven about what they're doing. They're paycheck-driven.
Yeah.
So they're taking it off and putting it back on, but purpose never drops.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That's
It
good.
don't drop.
Man.
You always carry it.
Yeah.
You always carry it, bro. I don't care, man. You already know me. Sometimes you gotta take purpose and put it in the baby seat on the side. Cause hold on, let me get my life right. Let me get together so I can get back to it. But it just never drops.
Right. Yeah. And you have greater impact, because as a coach,
Facts.
man, you will impact more lives in a year than most people will in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's one that I've watched to take that very seriously, man. Like I said, once again, man, we have a lot of similarities, man, which that's why I can't hang with everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's what we share, or, about our circles and stuff like that, because at the same, like he mindset, that's what he talks about. He talks about the mindset and pushing past your limit, you know what I'm saying? Because just when you think you're giving your all, you still got something left in the tank. And if it's something left in the tank, trust me, he gonna get it out. Yeah. But once again, like I said, at the end of the day, I have not seen not one person that have really taken his tutelage and have not been successful. I mean, what you did, you produced a state champion in 3 years? Was it 3 or 2?
Yeah, it was 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
You know, but you know, with that though, you know, like I say, outside of, you know, the coaching thing, I do mentor kids.
Yeah.
You know, I do mentor, and you know, one of my main projects right now, and he's family, but you know, my nephew.
Your nephew. Yeah.
You know, him and my son, like those two together, like,
yep.
You know, I champion.
I get a
tank,
joy out of watching them two, man.
Yeah. So like, you know, I'm
Mario,
you know, because charity starts at home.
Yeah.
You know, I do a lot for the community, and I do a lot for other people, but you know, I definitely take those two. You know, I know that they watching everything I do. You know, so again, if I'm not who I say I am, right, those two guys will be able to tell you, like, he's not who he say he is. You know, same thing for my wife. Like, if I'm putting on the show for you, she would be able to tell you, like, oh yeah, he just acting out. But you know, the biggest thing is, you know, I try to you know, motivate and inspire the youth. I mean, I even mentor adults. Like, it's adults I mentor too. Right. Because again, you can never not need a mentor.
Right.
Like, for instance, Preach is one of my mentors. Right. You know, a lot of, and I call him Preach, but Mike on the show, you know, hey, he one of my mentors. Like, you know, to be honest, man, he like he say, we have conversations, and you know, I can pick up the phone and call him, because you still need those people. You know, Tim Vesta, he's one of my mentors. He, you know, again, that's somebody that's, you know, it means a lot to me as well. You know, my dad, he gives great advice. He's a great mentor. So I feel like we all need still, even though we're adults, and even though I'm in the act of mentoring and teaching and, you know, coaching, you know, and trying to inspire, I still need a mentor as well. You still need mentors.
Yeah, my homegirl V, she work at the job. She a believer. Shouts out to V, my homegirl. And she had, and I heard Pastor Jeff say this a couple Sundays ago too. But the first time I heard this term was through her, because she from Philly. So she was at this church called, I think it's called the Rock Church in Philly, and she was the event coordinator or something like that there. But she had a mentor, and she was on the prayer team, and she said that the pastor was teaching her, you always need one up and one down. And she was explaining to me how you're in the middle and you're getting mentored. You have a covering, but you always need to have somebody who you're mentoring too. So we call it one up, one down. So I think that's pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah. And honestly, man, if you don't have a mentor, can you truly say you're growing? Can you truly say you're growing? Because what are you gauging? You understand what I'm saying? What do you have to gauge that? Because if we're talking about standards, right? Standards is measured by measurements. So I can't say I'm the greatest if I've never beat the greatest. I can't say I'm the best if I never beat the best. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm saying I want to be successful, if I want to be a successful wife, husband, son, uncle, you know, whatever it is, employee, business owner, whatever it is, at the end of the day, can you truly say you're reaching your peak without a mentor? Because there's somebody, you know how they say, the streets used to always say, it's always somebody bigger and better than you.
Always.
I don't care how you is. I don't care what them hands look like. See, you going to come across. And at the end of the day, you know, can we really saying we're growing without a mentor? Because, like, man, bro, like, when I got into speaking, and some of the cats that I've been mentored by, I always say it, you know, and especially like my first stop, y'all hear me talking about him all the time, because that's my dude, man, Delatoro McNeil. A lot of the cats I introduced these two cats to, like Myron Gold. I was just in a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about, I'm gonna have to put you on Myron Gold.
Fire, bro.
Dude is like, I made
fire, bro. Yeah.
He was on stage, and I was actually fit to make a beeline to the restroom, because we was at the restroom break. So I was coming back in, he was coming out. That joker read my mail in like 5 minutes, bro. Like there was some underlying fears that I had about the next level of where I was going, and didn't say nothing, bro. He opened up the door. He's coming out. I'm coming in, and we just started talking, and the dude just started reading my mail. I said, and walked off. I said, yeah. I said, I said,
Yep.
okay, God, I hear you. You know, but and I had to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? That was a pay, even though I was mentored by my mentor. He had a conference that you have to purchase a ticket for. And a lot of times we don't want to pay the price of what it takes to be mentored to get to that next level. And a lot of them guys that I've been mentored, they always tell you like how you gonna charge somebody something that you're not willing to pay your own self? You know what I'm saying? And so what I've seen,
That's deep.
It is.
It is.
Because when I look at you and what you've done, I have not seen you mentor from an empty bucket. I've seen you mentor from a place where you've been.
How can you charge somebody something that you're not willing to
Bro, that
pay
hit me
your
like
own self?
that hit me like a ton of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I pay. I you know, thankfully and willfully that I have a wife that supports me. But I mean, I've paid to be where I'm at to a certain degree. Literally, not just me, you know, body, not pocket wise, you know, but when you trying to get in this, because here's the thing, bro. This is what a mentor does for you, right? Now, had I not paid my fee for that ticket, right, I would not have access to the space that they have. And the only way you can get access to the space that they have is if you pay for it. Because if you don't pay for it, you can't get access to that space. Right. So we could be sitting on the outside of the door all day long and say, dang, man, I wish I was in there. Oh, dang, man, I wish I'd pay the fee. Right. Pay the fee. But a lot of times people don't want to pay the fee.
Nope.
But when you understand the greater the cost, the greater the reward, then you'll be willing to. Because when I first, once again, I know we're gonna have some new listeners because this guy has a great following, but at the end of the day, when I realized that, hey, I want to be mentored by this guy, years went by. I don't think I ever shared this with you. Years went by. I didn't have the money to pay because it was a hefty ticket. Yeah. And then it was just that 1 year that man, income tax hit right. We didn't have to pay catch up. Yep. Cause you know how many times income tax hit. Yeah. A lot of times you paying catch up.
Exactly.
And it was just we wasn't paying catch up that year. And I said, babe, you know, we got extra amount of left over. What is it cool? Can I go to the conference? And I mean not the conference. It was back then the speaking program was called Live Your Speaking Dreams. It's a different name now. But that's where I spent 3 days out, my first 3-day speaker boot camp. And met some wonderful people. So when we sit there and we just let opportunity slide, man. When the opportunity comes, you got to take it. If you have to wait on it, that's fine. Like I had to wait on that, but I never lost sight of the goal. And a lot of times we lose sight of the goal and we change destination. No. I'm not changing the destination. I might change the route. But I ain't changing the destination. Like he said, football was his way out. He had no plan B. It was just straight plan A. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But when you're talking about really impacting people's life and walking a life of purpose, it ain't about money. It ain't about cars. It ain't about houses. What is the legacy that you're living that when people see you, that they want to run to you and not run from you? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So
well, let me jump in on
go
that.
Ahead.
You know,
Tag you in.
I'm gonna pass the mic back to you, man. I really appreciate being here today. Man. Listen, so if I ask you for money every time I see you, man, let me hold something because I will ask to hold something. Now I'm still like that. Even if I got it, I'm gonna ask you to hold a couple dollars just to make sure I'm good with you. But you know, if I'm every time you see me, let me hold something, man. And then I run off and I never pay you back. You know, next time you see me, man, let me hold something, man. Listen, you don't give me, what? So that's what I got out of that. Like, man, what?
Yeah. If you attract what you put out, and if you ain't putting nothing out, then what you gonna attract?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that's why when I'm like I said, I'm gonna echo behind these guys, and especially this guy right here because I haven't seen nothing but production, bro. It ain't blowing smoke up nobody's pipe. It ain't brown nosing. It is what it is.
It's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you and when they say that, and we're gonna let you talk about your business. When they say you want to be the best, then you want to get trained by the best. And man, we got some dogs now. But some of them been trained by him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when the opportunity presents itself again, guys. Once again, you gotta just take advantage of it, man. So definitely been an inspiring journey, man. And for those, I'm gonna clear the air before I let you turn it back over to you, Coach. If you came here looking for some tea, you came to the wrong spot. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because this is an empowerment podcast, and y'all, if y'all thought y'all were gonna get some tea, food on you. So,
not today.
This man is more than a football guy, and so we definitely wanted to touch on his story, but then get a little bit about his background. What makes Coach Thomas? Because when I see this man, I see a man of success. You know what I'm saying? And none of us are perfect, but when you can sit there and when God allows you to connect with purpose, then it's up to you to extract purpose from that situation.
Yep.
So,
because whatever hits your ears, you're accountable for.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, if it hits your ears, bro, you're accountable.
Yeah.
You can't say you didn't see that. You can't say you didn't hear that. Right. You can't say you wasn't exposed to that. What you gonna do with it?
Yep.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I see, honestly, too, man. I see purpose in a lot of people. I see purpose, I try to create opportunities for purpose too, right? But I see, like, every kid that I coach, like big, small, tall, it's something about them that I feel like they can get whatever done we need to get done.
Right.
Now, and the biggest thing, I think my biggest obstacle a hurdle I'm gonna have to get over is, just kind of teaching the kids, like, don't doubt yourself. Like, do what you're told, and we'll all be successful. Don't doubt.
Right.
Don't doubt coaches. Don't doubt yourself.
Right.
Believe in yourself. Like, because again, a lot of times when a kid ain't performing or something like that at a high level, it's because of self-doubt. Maybe his peers are telling him he can't do it. Maybe the people around him don't believe that he can do it. But, again, we go back to the Bible, faith of a mustard seed.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's and I ain't saying that, I ain't trying to, say that that's how much faith that I have, in these kids, but I do have a lot of faith in these kids. And again, I think that goes back to why I do what I do, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's all something what I would like to call purpose success. Purposed success. It is all purpose for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So man, it's been lovely, man. If you got anything else you want to say, but I definitely want you to, shout out your business, man. You're one of the best trainers in the area to do what you do, and so definitely want to give the audience a shout out, with your information and stuff like that. So
yeah, shout out to Qualified Champions Training. It's something I do on my. It's kind of a pastime, something I do. It's also a hobby of mine. I mean, it's coaching.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally, I had a parent reach out to me a couple years ago, probably about 2 years ago or so, and was like, hey, man, would you mind, training my child? And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. And she's like, how much would you charge? I think I might have told her $10 or something like that. And like, the parent is the reason why I knew my value when it comes to that. Like, $10? Like, just because I'm gonna be real. Like, it's training and coaching is something I do for free. Like, I get up because I love to do it. I like to see people achieve. And, coaching, a lot of times people don't realize, but coaches put everybody else ahead of them.
Yep.
It's a selfless gig, like, literally. And then you're going to be blamed if you're not good enough. And then they going to talk about you. Oh, he suck as a coach. Oh, he can't do this as a coach. But you literally it's a selfless act. It's a selfless job. Now, some people have agendas, but for the most part, like, the time you put into it, it's selfless. So when this parent asked me, she said, Coach, would you mind coaching, training my kid? And then so once I started training him, then, like, other people started reaching out, hey, would you want to train? Like, we see you training this student. Would you like to train me? And then so somebody else reached out, and then somebody else, and then somebody else. So then it got to the point where, dang, I mean, I almost need to, quit my day job and do this, full time. But it's something I do on the side. I ain't gonna say it's a side hustle because I really like to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say that it's definitely something that is beneficial. You know, bring a little bit of income into the house, and
It's
you
an
know,
addition.
I really do believe that I'm the best trainer in the world.
All right.
Now, again,
Talk that talk.
I'm being real with y'all. Now, listen. I'm not gonna say I'm the best coach, but I'm gonna say I'm the best trainer in the world. And if you want your kid to train with the best, get with Qualified Champions Trainer. Hit me up. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, QCT
For sure.
underscore 2022. That's when the business was established. But yeah, Qualified. To be honest with y'all, Qualified Champions. I came up with the idea years ago, but I was like, man, I ain't. You know, I looked at training athletes. Cause when I came up, I ain't had no trainer. You know what trained me? The wrestling room, weightlifting, the track team. So that was my training in the off season. We just didn't have the funds to do it. Right. So when I used to see these kids training with these coaches and stuff, I'm like, well, you know, it's definitely beneficial. I didn't know how beneficial it was because I just always had that natural dog in me. But now I definitely can see the fruits of my labor, and I can definitely see these kids are, you know, getting better from it. So it's definitely a blessing to be able to do it and help them out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's good, man.
Hey, Mike, he went rapper mode real quick.
For real. No cap.
shout out to all my clients. Hey, y'all keep coming back.
Find me on Instagram.
Shout out to all the QCT clients.
Right,
man.
keep coming back. Hey, and tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Amen.
You went rapper
Straight
mode.
like that.
Yeah.
No chaser.
Straight like that.
No chaser.
Single dropping soon. Let's go.
And I will get them better.
I'm telling you, he ain't lying either.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, go and get your mind right before you die that phone. Because
Life altering.
your kid going to be calling Earl a couple times. Earl.
Oh yeah. Trust me. Hey, listen, and to be honest too, you know, that's just a part of it. You know, it's a part of it. That's just a part of the grind, man. It's a part of the grind. You know, but also being a husband, you know, taking care of all my bills and, you know, taking care of my son. You know, it's also that part of my life is very important. You know, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. I feel like we got the floor. I feel like this is a place I can talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And just kind of get a word a little bit about. But you know, I got married to my wife.
How long has it been now?
6 years.
6 years. Yeah.
We've been married for 6 years. You know, we going strong. You know, my wife, she's into instruments and stuff like that. She does a lot for our church. You know, and like I say, she's my rock. We you know, she kind of keep me grounded, keep me level-headed. She's that person that if I do feel like I'm a little too high or I feel like I'm great, you know, she can do something to just bring me back to my level. You know what I mean? And
She plays the guitar.
she does the bass.
Bass guitar.
So you were,
Yeah,
it was at your church a couple
Yeah.
Okay, good, man.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Great. You know, but yeah, she you know, she come from a, you know, a church background, and so, you know, I definitely needed that, you know, that rib, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I say, to keep me grounded, you know, to kind of help me out whenever I feel like I'm a little too, you know, out there, I'm high on the hog. You know, she can always, you know, she could do or say, you know, to bring me back to my level. And, you know, every man needs that. You know, every man needs that queen in their life.
Reality,
Right. That's going to keep them in their place. And you know, again, you know, she keeps me humble. And you know, raising my son has been, you know, a humbling experience. Just, you know, watching him grow from a toddler. I remember cutting the biblical cord.
Yeah.
And, you know, just how I at that time in my life, I didn't know what was next when he was born. It was kind of like the doctor, hey, here go your baby. You know what I mean? And, you know, we go over, I cut the cord, and, you know, I'm just holding him. You know, he just literally just out the womb. Wow. And the doctor was like, hey, man, we gotta make sure we wrap him up. You're not supposed to, you know, just, did you wash your hands? Did you? Because I had took my glove off, and I was like, man, he my son. Like, you know what I mean? And I, you know, it just, you know, teaching him and just watching him blossom into who he is and stuff like that is it's been a blessing in my life too. I mean, I love it.
I'm watching it. Boy, that dude gonna be a chip off the old block, boy.
Yeah,
He's in good company.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Y'all seen him? Y'all seen what
Yeah.
My man was finna get on the camera back there. Y'all seen him? Yeah, but he's just mischievous. He do a lot of, curious champ. He see some stuff, go get into it.
Yeah.
Check it out. Just curious.
What's
at
this?
his age. Yeah.
Like any kid his age.
Yeah, the camera would have been turned that way or something. But yeah, man, like I said, it's just a blessing. Life is a blessing. Being able to pour into people and being able to be around good company.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because that's always needed. But yeah, it's a blessing. I'm glad y'all brought me out here, man. I know that the show probably went a little bit longer than normal, but I'm happy.
No.
I hope that whoever watched this, it takes something away from it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, man, and that's like I said, when I didn't want to limit. We know podcasts have time limits, and once I get to it, because we always pre-record for y'all first timers. We actually pre-record because all three of us actually have a pretty crazy schedule. So, and what I didn't want to do was cut this man's time off. And so if we have to chop it up into 2 videos, then that's what we're gonna do. We'll do a part 1 and a part 2. But I didn't want to rush his story because he's a busy man. Season kicks off in a couple of days, so it's grind time for him. So I wanted to go ahead and get it all in. And like I said, if I got to chop it up and make a part 1 and part 2, then y'all just make sure y'all tune in for it. But I wanted to make sure y'all get this story, man, because he's more than a coach. He's more than just a football guy, man. He's all around great guy. But some of you may not have heard his whole story. But here's a little snapshot that you guys was able to get on tonight. So, but I will say this, man.
Big facts.
Hey, check out them 2024 hounds, man, because we coming.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I know. I don't
I'm
want
very
you to
excited.
Shut a dash real quick.
Okay,
dash,
so
what
controlling
that's
the
for?
dash. So
your
the
big
D,
thing.
the D stands for discipline. The A stands for attitude. The S stands for sacrifice, and the H stands for habits. Discipline. Simply we all have to be disciplined. In our life. If we undisciplined, then we're gonna see a lot of self-destruct going on.
Yeah.
Attitude. We're in full control of our attitudes when we wake up every morning. I'm in full control of the way I treat you and my attitude. Sacrifice. We talk about iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
I had to throw a little bit of biblical in there. Iron sharpening iron. I'm good because you're good. You're making me better. I'm making you better. And then habits. A man ain't in control of his future, but he's in control of his habits. And, ultimately his habits will dictate his future. So, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to control the dash every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
dope.
Yeah.
I got that down as a
That's
reminder.
dope. Yeah.
We're trying to control the dash. And like I say, man, make sure y'all get them season tickets this year. Come out and support us, Bloodhound Nation. If you're not from Auburndale, come out and support us. And just come check us out. See what we're doing this year. I think it's going to be a pretty fun season. The kids have been working hard.
Yes.
And so just come out and support us, man, and show love. And, if you made it to the big show, shout out to you. Boy Wonda
for having me,
Yeah,
man.
Boy
Boy Wonda did his
had 'em
thing.
rocking out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you
Right.
for having me, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's just next year the big show gonna just be bigger. So
Yeah.
just keep your eyes out. Like I got some things I'm planning.
The bigger show.
The
The
bigger
bigger
show.
show.
Absolutely. So just we just gonna try to keep getting bigger every year. For real.
Facts.
And keep growing that event. Because I feel like every vendor who came out, y'all made y'all money.
And then some.
Absolutely. All the alumni that played in the game, y'all made it out safe. Ain't nobody get hurt.
Right.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
And you performed, man. You did a great job, man.
Yeah.
You had a
Thank
lot
you,
of
man.
great reviews in the community. So, again, we want to, and Jewett School of the Art Band did a
They did.
yeah.
great
Bro,
job.
they killed
Shout out
that.
to JSA.
Jewett
yeah.
Middle School. I think it's
Yeah.
middle school.
Yeah. Middle school. Yeah.
But,
There you go,
they did their thing. And so, like I
Real.
say, I felt like we did one for the culture. Like the people
Yeah.
needed, so
Yeah.
we just continue to grow that
Yeah.
thing out,
Seriously.
Yeah. Y'all make sure be on the lookout for social media, man. I'll go to the Auburndale Bloodhound page, man. We are offering booster packages, season tickets. So, everything goes to the football team, man, trying to get these guys. Like I said, Coach Thomas has a big vision. And it's for getting guys at camps. It ain't just for uniforms and stuff like that. But for those that unfortunate enough that may not have the money to go to camp, a portion of those proceeds go to those kids that can't afford to go to camp. Because he's trying to get everybody exposed. Now, he can't give everybody a scholarship. That's not his job. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm, fledged proof that he is actually trying to get these kids exposure. So at the end of the day, man, y'all support the Hounds, man. Support the Hounds. So
big facts.
Before we get up out of here, man, you got any closing remarks you want to say to the audience?
First and foremost, this has been a humbling experience. Anytime I'm in front of a camera, it's a humbling experience. But like I say, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity that y'all have brought forth for me in y'all platform. I thank y'all for having me on the platform. It's a great platform.
Oh man, thank you for accepting.
Thank
I've been waiting for this
man.
for a long time. You first guest of many, so we ain't want to have no guests. I ain't want nobody. I ain't want nobody in that chair till my boy got there.
Hey, and I wasn't listen, and shout out to the folks that reached out to me about getting on their platforms. This is just this one was just different. And if this is my last interview, I'm happy that I was able to make it on this platform.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
That makes
two,
sense,
man. And so we actually got a surprise for y'all, man. So at the end of tonight's episode, our brother Alxndr got a new joint that's gonna be dropping August 8th.
Yeah, August the 9th.
9th.
August 9th, Alxndr drops. Produced by Dominant Certifico, North Cape. We building, man, slowly.
We are on the
way. We building, man. Alxndr is a record just about being in your weight room, being in your gym, like being in your jungle, being in your place, being in your exile, but you're not there. I was talking to my fiance and I was telling her we talking about time. And how people say, don't waste your time. I say, time is not meant to be done alone. It don't get better at time if you're not doing something with what God give you. Time is not meant to be done alone. So when you're in your exile, when you're in your grind mode, when you're working your 2 jobs, when you're studying, you're doing that for a reason. That's your Alxndr. You got people looking at you. You got people counting on you. You know what I'm saying? So Alxndr is about you preparing for that comeback season. So you know what I mean? So shouts out to Dominant Certifico, North Cape. We are on the way. For sure, man.
And with that being said, we got a special treat for you guys. So don't turn off the episode right now.
Yeah.
But we got a premiere video from Mr. Alxndr himself.
Real talk, I need a drum roll, all ears. Now I got him like Dumbo. Weatherman. Yeah, Dumbo out right now, produced by Diamond. Let's go. Appreciate you, Mike,
Yes, sir. Hey, this is our own platform for you, so we're going to use it to the fullest. So y'all don't touch that dial.
Yeah.
Coming up next, Dumbo. And y'all know how we like to lead the podcast. Hey, shoot for the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. And if you think different and be different, you'll have the opportunity to live different. And once again, we'll see you on the other side of success. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Real talk, I need a drum roll, all ears. Now I got him like Dumbo. Weatherman, dripping wet, I need a poncho. Sleepwalking, face stepping with my eye glow. 40,000 for the dumb flow. Top 10, if you need it, I'ma send more. Rubber bands, what is that for? Cock it back, let it fly out the window. You told me you had me when I called, you ain't pick up. I'm just trying to put my own weight like a chin up. Mama told me, Alex, when you make it, don't forget us. Got the whole fam on my back like a pickup. What's the speed limit? Running over speed demons. California king, pillow top, street dreaming. You ain't gotta tell me what you need, I can see it. 3 words, solo, 1 phrase, thank you Jesus. Jerry Stackhouse, they call me the coach. Young Isaiah Thomas, back in 84. I be serving hope, cater to your soul. Got a book, that's why we low. Bowling ball, we on the road. Put me at the ocean, I was drowning, yeah. Place me at the bottom of a mountain, bottom. Now they tossing quarters in the fountain, tossing. Wishing that they never ever doubt me. Why you doubt me? Yeah, real talk, I need a drum roll, all ears. Now I got them like Dumbo, weatherman. Dripping wet, I need a poncho. Sleepwalking, face stepping with my eye closed. 40,000 for the dumb flow, top 10. If you need it, I'ma send more. Rubber bands, what is that for? Pocket back, let it fly out the window. Let it fly out the window.